Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the Self-Improvement Learning Center. I am Jahi Chikwindu Muhammad, one of the principals of the Self-Improvement Learning Center, and I am sitting here today in total awe of the person that I'm with. This brother, I personally first heard of him in 1994. I was blessed to sneak into a believers meeting. I was processing at the time, sneak into a believers meeting of the Nation of Islam, and Minister Farrakhan was right there. And he stood this brother up. He said this was the first minister that he heard in the Nation of Islam. Stood brother Minister James 7X up. And ever since then, I've been in awe because every time I see this brother or when I see him around the minister always gives him acknowledgement. And we're definitely in awe because he just published his book. The book came out earlier this year. It's called The Nation of Islam's Temple Number 7. Harlem, USA, My Years with Malcolm and Farrakhan. So our brother has a history that is unparalleled in the Nation of Islam. We're going to try to get as much information out of him in the next 9 minutes as humanly possible. But I encourage all of you to make sure you get a copy of this book. We're taping this particular interview 2 weeks before the 16th anniversary of the Million Man March commemoration, Holy Day of Atonement, which will be held in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania at the Philadelphia Convention Center on October 8th and 9th. So you must make your way to Philadelphia, find our brother, Minister James 7X, also known as Minister James Najiy, to make sure you get this book in your hand because it gives you a history of the Nation of Islam from his perspective, as I said, is unparalleled. So I said all that to say as an introduction to welcome my mentor, big brother, someone I've admired from a distance. Now I get a chance to be up close and personal. Brother Minister James, welcome to the Self-Improvement Learning Center. It is again, I know I'm sounding like a groupie, a fan, and I am. Thank you, first of all, for putting your perspective in a book so that we all can get a better understanding, especially as new jacks to the Nation of Islam, can get a better understanding of this overall mission. What was the thinking behind you finally deciding to say, okay, let me put this in pencil and paper? What was your thinking behind that process?
The Nation of Islam had failed. And I had been working, I thought about 1985. I thought about putting my experience in the nation, and especially at number 7, down so others can read it. Actually, I wanted to leave something that people could read and know that I existed.
Yes, sir.
After I
Yes, sir.
gone. I started in 1985, and I kept changing the book because as I wrote it, things would come that would sound better than what I had previously written down. And then there was things in it that I just thought that I shouldn't write. So I just kept changing the book.
Okay.
And there was a time when I said I was not really schooled in the computer.
Yes, sir.
I had written the book, and then a problem came up, and I hit select all. And I didn't know what to do then, so I closed out the book or saved it. And what I did not realize that I had saved the erase of the entire book.
Wow.
So I had to start all over again
Wow.
from memory. And that was one of the reasons why it took me so long. But I wanted to make
So
sure.
long.
I was right.
How long?
We're talking about 26 years.
26 years. Okay.
I had it edited twice.
Okay.
Once by a Caucasian woman, and her words to me, she said, "This is a book that should be printed."
Yes.
Then I had someone else edit the book in Holland, and they said the same thing.
Okay.
And then when I finally felt that the book was where I wanted it to be, that I didn't think that the minister would, I believe that the minister would approve of it, I decided I would have it printed.
Oh, praise is due to Allah. We, all of us that get chance to read your words and read your perspective, that's the thing that is most endearing to me, that someone of your stature, and what I mean by that, someone of Brother Minister James's stature. He is a minister, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, a minister of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. So I think we are blessed in the Nation of Islam to have brothers and sisters like your wife who have seen the various transitions of the Nation of Islam and to document that. That for me is so important. I've heard Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan say over the years that the pioneers, such as yourself, should put your experiences in writing, so those of us that come along, our children, grandchildren, because as we all know, the Nation of Islam will be here forever. So how best to pass on, as you say, leave that legacy for the future, and by writing, and hopefully now by documenting brief interviews such as these. Do you have, you mentioned that in the rewriting, there were some things that you considered not putting in the book. After you select all, deleted all of that information out of the book originally, did you decide to go back and put some things in the book?
I did, but I said it in another way.
Okay.
You know, to be truthful, that when I first started, there were things that had happened and that I was angry for.
Yes, sir.
Angry about.
Yes, sir.
But the more I thought about it, my book is not to give you the bad things that might have happened, because Islam under Elijah Muhammad, we were in an infant stage.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You know, and people did things because we were young.
Right.
And so I thought better of it. That's why when before I printed the book, I approached the minister and asked him,
yes, sir,
would he critique the book? And his words to me, in front of his son Joshua and brother Mustafa,
yes, sir,
he said, I do not have to critique anything that you write.
Wow.
But I still wanted him to critique
yes, sir.
it.
And that's in my humble opinion, that's a beautiful gesture.
I'll tell you why I wanted him to critique it, because I remember Elijah Muhammad told the minister, when the minister asked him to critique something on him, he said, I don't have to critique you.
Yes, sir.
But even though he told the minister that, the minister was wise enough to realize that this was the leader talking.
Yes, sir.
This was a man who sat with God himself. So the minister kept giving Elijah Muhammad
that's respect. Yes.
Yes, but when I tried to do it, by the time the brother had finished editing the book, Savior Day was right around the corner.
Yes, sir.
And I could not get a copy of the book to give to the minister.
Yes, sir.
And it hurts me right even to this day, because I wanted him to see it.
Okay.
But when I did hand it to him, the minister did this.
Yes, sir. All praise is due to Allah. The Nation of Islam's Temple number 7, Harlem, USA. My Years with Malcolm and Farrakhan, by Brother Minister James 7X. Also, we're known, beloved, as I've heard the minister address you, as Brother Najiy Muhammad as well. So I want to give the potential investors of this historic document for the Nation of Islam a little teaser. And the way I want to do that is, you don't have to give like the full story or several. I just want one little scenario or story about something that part of your experience in this sojourn in the Nation of Islam that would be interesting, for the lack of a better word, that's in the book. So everybody will rush out and invest in this historical document.
There are many, many things that I could talk about.
Yes, I know.
Really. But the one that is always in my heart was that in March of 1955,
1955, March, okay.
Malcolm had chosen me, it was on a Wednesday, to teach the subject that night. Malcolm was out doing what he was very good at, and that was setting up temples for the man he loved.
Yes, sir.
Elijah Muhammad.
And so we make no mistake about it, to those that are listening, especially the younger people, we're talking about Malcolm X. Malcolm X, yes.
Also, Malcolm chose me that night because I was, at that time, I was the senior of the new brothers. And so he picked me. Sitting in the front row as the first time was a very young looking boy, about 18. At least he looked 18 to me.
Right.
And it was Louis Walker.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Who we all know today
Yes.
as Louis Farrakhan.
Yes, sir. Wow. So he saw the minister when he walked through the doors at FY class.
No,
It was
this
a meeting.
mosque.
It was a mosque meeting. It was a mosque meeting.
Well, actually, it was a temple. We called temple.
Yes, sir.
at
It
the
was
time.
a temple meeting in March of 1955.
He had not too long come from Savior's Day,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
but he had never been in a
To
temple before.
a temple meeting. Yes, sir.
And I happened to be blessed. I'm glad. You know, he did not accept it from me, but I'm awful thankful that I did not say anything that night that would deter him from coming back. And in fact, the more I think about it, I don't think I could have said anything to deter him anyway, because he's written in the book
Yes, sir.
and he was chosen by the Creator through life
Yes, sir.
to be what he is.
Yes, sir.
See, he was chosen through the tears and the suffering long before he was shaped in the womb of his mother. So if I would act crazy like some brothers did back then, take the Bible and threw it on the ground, I believe he would have still came back. Now, then, I didn't realize, really, this is something I have never told him. And I didn't catch on to that until he was doing the violin concertos.
Yes.
And there was a picture came out of him standing with Ted Max of the Amateur Hour.
Right, of the amateur hour. Yes, sir.
And it was then that I realized that I had seen him before.
Ah.
Because I was looking at that show.
Yes, sir.
Because I used to
Yes, sir.
like amateur hours.
Gotcha.
Because I used to like to sing. In fact,
Oh,
I
okay.
had a group and we tried out for the Alpha Godfrey Talent Scouts.
Okay.
So I'm sitting there looking at him, and I started to laugh at him. He was 16 years old. I think I was 18 and a half or 19. I think it was 1949. And the reason why I laughed is because here was a black boy with a violin in his hand. And that was...
I've heard of
yeah,
it.
that was not the usual.
Right, right.
Because the usual at that time, black boys wanted to learn how to play the saxophone.
Saxophone, yeah.
Like Coleman Hawkins, Illinois Jack Cat,
Okay, okay.
Lester Young, or they wanted to play the trumpet like Dizzy Gillespie, and the cornet
Right.
like Louis Armstrong, or the
Right.
drums like Gene Krupa, Buddy Rich, or the
Okay.
old timer, what's his name? Well, anyway.
Right, those types
Chick
of
Webb,
instruments.
Chick
Okay.
Webb.
Yes, sir.
But here he was
With a violin.
doing the unusual. And then when I began to think about it later on in life, he's still the same way.
Doing the unusual.
He's doing the unusual because
Oh,
the
praise
usual
you
today
a lot.
for the masses of the black, and especially our black leaders, is to try to continue to do the useless thing, and that is
The
to
useless
unite
thing.
and integrate themselves in a society that does not want them.
Right.
Where the minister is so unusual, he's telling them that they are even afraid, what they're even afraid to say, separate or die.
Yes.
And so that's why that stays with me.
Yes, sir.
You know?
Yes, sir. History. Watching history in the making. That's absolutely beautiful. Brother Najiy, I want to thank you again for pouring your soul out into this.
Can I want to say this here. I couldn't not have done anything that I've done if it was not for my wife.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
She's been with me. I met her when she was 16 and I was 19.
Okay.
And all I had to do is tell her in 1950 that I was going to the temple.
1950.
And the next Sunday, she said to me, "Why don't you take me?" And the next Sunday, she was there.
Beautiful.
And had been there ever
Beautiful.
since.
Did y'all get that? 1950, you invited her, or you mentioned that you were going to the
I
temple.
was going.
And she says,
Well, how come you never take me?
Beautiful. Brothers and sisters, add that up. 61 years ago.
She not only has she been a wife, but she's been a good helper for Malcolm and for the minister.
All praise
She was in the
to Allah.
secretary of the department under Malcolm and was an excellent helper for Secretary John Ali.
All praise is due to Allah. History right here. We would be remiss if we did not acknowledge his wonderful wife, who's Sister Elaine, who's right here by his side. Right here, 61 years ago. She made it to the mosque. They've been married 59 years. 59 years. Yeah, I don't think they get that. 59 successful marriages in the Nation of Islam. I had the opportunity to conduct a workshop in 2000, or moderate a workshop in 2007, Savior's Day in Detroit, and the title of the workshop was Strong Families Build Strong Nations. So I say that to say this is a prelude. We're going to have you and Sister Elaine back very soon here at the Self-Improvement Learning Center. When I say soon, we're talking within the next 6 weeks. Plan something right after the Holy Day of Atonement where we're going to invite people to come here and have an intimate setting with Brother James and Sister Elaine on how we as Muslims and as people in general, how can we have successful marriages, and especially being under these teachings. And don't forget, make sure you invest in this book, The Nation of Islam's Temple Number 7, Harlem, USA, My Years with Malcolm and Farrakhan. You can go to james7x.com. That's JAMES, the number 7, the letter X.com. Again, my brother, it's an honor and privilege and pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Assalamu alaikum.